They are not willing to put the full AI stack. They're piloting a lot here. I call it the pilotitis. They're piloting and piloting and piloting, but they're not implementing. So for me, it's you need to even as a small company or a large company, you need to find that capability of showing the future, showing what's the art of the possible in 12, 18, 24 months, but you're not going to implement it yet. But and what can you really implement? What can really bring the outcomes, the value, the benefit for your clients today?
That spark of innovation, it's just waiting for the perfect combination of tools and talent to bring it to life. Welcome to Pitch, Build, Scale. I'm your host, Chris Fanchi, a recovering startup founder, veteran SaaS marketer, turned dev tech enthusiast and growth specialist. Each episode, we connect with the builders, the visionaries, and the problem solvers who are redefining what's possible with today's technology and pioneering the websites, apps, and software products of tomorrow. These are the conversations that transform how we build, how we sell, and how we scale technology businesses in a world where the tech evolves by the minute. Ready to stay ahead of the curve? This is Pitch, Build, Scale.
Hello and welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Big North Marketing and specialize in helping dev shops and SaaS companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your SaaS or dev business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop us the word growth in the DMs. We're really excited to have today's guest, Yossi Abraham, President and CEO of Zappix, an AI-powered digital engagement platform that's transforming customer experience across healthcare, enterprise, and government sectors. With a 25-year career spanning project management, customer success, and executive leadership, Yossi took Zappix from a small B2C business to an enterprise-grade B2B solution provider, completely bootstrapped. Today, we'll dive into how he's navigating the challenges of enterprise sales, compliance-heavy markets, and the ever-shifting AI landscape. Yossi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris.
So I like to start off with a little bit about your background and what brought you to where you are today. So how did you first get into tech and software?
I actually started developing software when I was in high school, and I'll probably reveal my age and say that the first language I developed was then Basic, Fortran, and then COBOL. That's how old I am, but that's how I started with software development. And then I'm originally from Israel, so after my service at the army, I joined a company that was a technology provider in Israel, very successful company at that time. I started in Israel, relocated to London, and after 4 years in London, they asked me to relocate here to the States. Multiple roles throughout my career: project management, service management, PMO, chief of staff, and then in the last 15 plus years, mainly focusing on sales and marketing and then general management.
Okay. So how did you end up at Zappix specifically?
So I've done multiple different roles in different aspects of any business, whether it's service, professional services, sales, marketing, partnerships, and so on. And then a friend of mine introduced me to the owner of the company, and we chatted. I loved the technology that Zappix had at that time. And I have really a passion and desire for customer service and customer experience, and the marriage of the technology and that domain really appealed to me. And I felt that there's a need in the market at that time for this. And I decided to join a very, 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 very small company, almost pre-revenue. And my entire career was with companies that were at least 500 and above. So it was the first time that I made this jump.
So what was the state of the company then? And what inspired you? What about the product made you so excited to come aboard?
So the company was, I think, 3, 4 people at that time, and um, one client that assigned with minimal revenue, like negligible. But I think it was the potential that I saw there between the technology that they had, which was all about, it was called visual IVR at that time. It's how you move and deflect a voice call into digital. And I'm talking about 7 years ago, so it was much more transformative at that time. You take a phone call in and you send out a link, and then you can complete the entire interaction self-service with very high containment. And coming from and my last several roles were really focusing about managed services and leading consulting engagements and so on, was really how can you transform customer experience using technology, using automation, using driving efficiency and driving revenue thanks to all of that. So that's why I thought it would be interesting. And also taking all of my past experience and bringing it into leading a company, basically.
Is this the first company that you've actually been the top dog at?
Yes. Yes. I've been multiple different executive roles, but it's the first time I'm leading end-to-end the company.
So tell us a little bit about Zappix today. Where are you guys at? How large is the team? What kind of clients are you working with? And what is your product focus now?
So the company has evolved a lot, of course, since that time. Initially, it was really transforming the product. At that time, we had one product to a B2B product and then expanding the portfolio. But changing the product from B2C to B2B, everything around operability, scalability, deployability, security, and so on. And then starting to expand the product portfolio to really have a portfolio of a product. At that time, we were focusing on self-service, digital self-service. Since then, we really expanded the portfolio to have, first and foremost, a very sophisticated, intelligent outreach platform. Now we have an engine that can send text, email, WhatsApp, robocalls, and all of that, multi-touch, omni-channel, following different algorithms, throttling, and all of that nice stuff. And also added agent assist capabilities for if the agents or the schedulers, if it's in healthcare and so on, need to communicate better. So how can you do that more efficiently, optimizing that interaction? So now we evolved from a visual, very niche, narrow product of visual IVR to a very comprehensive digital engagement platform. We serve multiple different domains. We were very domain agnostic in the past, but in the last couple of years, we're really focusing much more on healthcare, both providers and payers. And enterprise, we do all the sales through partnerships but we're much more focused on specific industries or use cases in the enterprise side. The company today is somewhere between 20 to 25 people and customer funded, completely customer funded.
So what are some of the core benefits that you're providing to your healthcare clients?
So when we're looking at the healthcare, we're basically helping them increase the throughput of patients that are actually coming through their doors and actually attending those appointments. And we do it in two main ways. One is that we help them book more appointments using a very comprehensive and sophisticated referral reminder. So all of those patients that have a referral but yet to book an appointment. So we do a digital outreach to them, multi-touch, omni-channel, reminding them you have a referral, you haven't booked yet. This is why it's important for you from a care perspective, but this is also why why is it important you do it with our clients, and we do it on our behalf of our clients. But then also we have a great solution for reducing no-shows. How can you reduce the no-shows in healthcare, which is a big, big problem? And we are helping multiple hospitals today reduce no-shows by 30 to 60% when we work with some of their departments. And that's a driver for additional revenue, driving efficiency of their staff, and so on. And the third element is really reducing the amount of manual effort on some of those routine tasks. Even think about picking up the phone and calling patients to advise that one of the physicians is sick and they need to now reschedule 20 people for tomorrow. That takes time. Or people that they need to speak with about, did you do all the preps required before a colonoscopy? People don't answer the phone now. So every time they need to do that, they need to call 20 times until someone answers. We do all of that now, digital outreach or automated calls and so on. So driving revenue and driving efficiency while reduce manual efforts.
So where does AI come into the process? How is that? Well, first of all, how did you guys approach it 6 years ago, 7 years ago when you came aboard with the company, and how has that changed to today?
So 6, 7 years ago, we didn't do AI. What we did 6, 7 years ago was much more. There were some AI capabilities like NLP, natural language processing, OCRs, and so on. But these are, I call it almost AI features when you compare what's happening today with AI. We were predominantly RPA, robotic process automation, because what our best advantage is really taking a workflow that is either self-service or a workflow that is related to some type of engagement, automating that, connecting to all the relevant backend systems, and providing the best customer patient experience to fulfill that specific interaction. Today, regarding AI, so AI is advancing so quickly, and there are new developments almost every day. First of all, it's hard to be very transparent. It's very hard to keep up that pace, and it's still hard. We're still a small company. You need to bet on what fits your unique value proposition the best, and how does that complement and add to our value? So we chose a couple of areas that we feel that are very complementary to our portfolio, and now we're focusing on them. It's both in the generation, in the AI generative part of using some of the models, but using that, and also on starting to look into more of some of the big data or machine learning, looking at data that we produce from all of the interactions. What can we do with that? But we're continuously looking at that. So yeah.
So, how have you dealt with the compliance side of AI, especially working in healthcare? There's obviously going to be a lot of barriers and red tape there. I'm sure a lot of just internal hesitation about it. So, what has that been like to get your solutions into a healthcare setting?
Well, I see today in the AI what I call the implementation gap. There's a gap between what everybody's talking about, the potential, and what the actual possible path what are our clients, the healthcare providers or healthcare insurance payers, what are they willing to put in place as part of their stack? And there's a gap. This is the implementation gap of they're actually willing to put a lot of automation and workflow automation and so on. They are not willing to put the full AI stack. They're piloting a lot here. I call it the pilotitis. They're piloting and piloting and piloting, but they're not implementing. So for me, it's you need to, even as a small company or a large company, you need to find that capability of showing the future, showing what's the art of the possible in 12, 18, 24 months, but you're not going to implement it yet. But and what can you really implement? What can really bring the outcomes, the value, the benefit for your clients today? And these are two separate things. So you implement automation, efficiency, and you start to pilot POC the AI capabilities.
Have you seen those pilots convert into longer term engagements and new features, or how do those typically play out?
Not yet. I think that's why I call it the pilotitis. So they're still piloting. They're maybe taking very, very narrow use cases. I haven't seen yet in the market like full adoption of full AI in large scale operations in healthcare. Even in non-healthcare, we don't see it too often, but we have to be in the game. You have to be in the conversation. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge of you need to still bring the revenue for the company and sell and implement and do all of that with what they're willing to put in place today from a compliance, security, and of course their need, while you need to entertain the POCs, the pilots, and so on for AI.
Yeah. So, what about things like RAG and Gen AI chatbots? What are you seeing in terms of those, and what is exciting you about the upcoming innovation in those categories?
So that's one of the areas we are looking at the AI. It's really RAG or RAG as a service, and basically, what it means for everybody is that you have a ChatGPT like chat, but it's ring fence for specific content that you want to feed it. And especially in healthcare, it's very important because you don't want a chat GPT like solution or Gemini or Claude or whatever to go to the internet and find answers to medical or clinical questions. And you want to really ring fence data from the healthcare provider specific to those things. So that's one area that we're looking into now. We are in our solution today for healthcare, we are providing a lot of digital patient education, videos, images, digital data, for certain departments we support. And RAG can be an amazing supplement for that. So you still want to have all of those media elements, but if you can do it in a conversational AI kind of engagement, that would be even better.
Is there anything coming down the pike from an AI perspective that has you really intrigued or excited? Anything that you haven't yet implemented?
Yes, I think everything around really understanding big data or a lot of the information that it's not information, it's data that we retrieve throughout the thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands interactions we're having on a monthly basis. What can you learn from that? What can you and I'll give an example for if we're talking about outreach, digital outreach. So today we typically do cohorts. So we have groups of patients or members in healthcare pairs that we send different outreaches to them based on certain attributes, but they are still under cohorts. The potential of AI is really to take that into hyper-personalization up to the level of the individual. If I know that you, Chris, are typically opening your emails between 6 to 7 p.m. when you finish your personal email, between 6 to 7 p.m. when you finish your day, why do we need to send you an email at 10 a.m. that has maybe a lower chance that you open it? Or if you have a higher tendency to respond to a text at this time, or if you are actually responding better to text versus email, can we prioritize that? So all of that hyper personalized outreach strategy, that's something that is really, really interesting for us.
Are you able to access, or I guess I should say, how much of your client data are you able to access and see, given the data privacy concerns in the healthcare field?
That's a very interesting topic in general, and especially in healthcare, it's very, very regulated. And so we can see, and what we're looking at is more about the journeys. And intentionally, we are not trying to retrieve a lot of personal information. We are minimizing that from the get-go in order to try to avoid as much as possible every leakage and everything else. But on the personal journeys, we do see, whether we sent a text, not send a text, when they clicked on the link there, what did they do throughout their journey on our visual bot and our IVA. So we're much more interested in the journey itself, not on all of the personal data. We're trying to actually keep it with the CRM, with the EMR, with the ERP, keep the personal data there. Let us look on how we can improve the engagement
Yeah. Yeah. With anonymized data as much as
as
possible,
much as
right?
possible. Anonymize maybe with one key field that we just need as an indicator, but we don't want everything. We don't need the social security and your address and everything else there.
Right. Transitioning back to the business and your future goals. So, what are you chasing? What is a big win that you're looking for in the next 12 to 18 months as a company?
I think I'm looking at it first on a growth perspective. How much can we grow? Can we achieve, the 50 to 100% growth as a company in the next 18 to 24 months? So that's one area. Second of all is from a portfolio perspective, how can we expand the portfolio? And the third component, which is tied with the first one, is partnership or ecosystem. How can we expand our channel sales ecosystem to support scalability and repeatability in sales? So these are the three main areas that I'm looking at. And of course, everything that accompanies that, like growing the company, all the marketing that is related, and so on.
How do you typically find new clients right now?
It's hard. First of all, it's hard. I think everybody is saying it today. Cold calling, cold emailing, that used to work 5 years ago, 4 years ago. People answered emails, people replied to emails, people answered the phone. The response rate in the last 12 to 18 months is going down dramatically. Um, so it's the way we do it today is we're still trying. You increase the volumes, you're still trying, but success rate there is not as high. We see more and more two or three other things that work better. One is personal touch, going to certain events, very focusing on regional, local events that are relatively small, but you can really have a human relationship, not going to the 20,000 people events that, just to drive people to your small booth is a challenge. But if you go to those regional ones that are 100 people, 60 people to 150 people, and you can start to converse and so on. So that's one. Second part is partnerships, finding those partners that have already the engagement, have already the relationship with those potential clients, and then work through those partners, which is an art for itself. And third of all is kind of advisors or referral agents that are similar to partnership, but they are really known in their industry, trying to go through them to open doors to more conversation.
So which would you say you're more focused on right now? Is it expanding into new verticals or deepening your healthcare penetration?
Absolutely deepening the healthcare side. We actually were in multi-vertical in the past, and in the last 2 years, we're really focusing much more on healthcare. Everything on the non-healthcare, we call it the enterprise. Just we're doing it through partnership. It's still about 50% of what we're doing today, but I believe that my forecast is that the healthcare will become more of the majority of the company in the next 1 to 2 years.
So what would you say is the biggest constraint to you in executing on your vision of getting that 50 to 100% growth within the next 2 years?
It's lead generation, first of all, to bring more leads and then to go through the sales funnel and so on. That's one area. We are a customer funded company. We're bootstrapped, and so we cannot just throw budgets on marketing and sales like crazy. So that's one constraint, is how do we, with limited resources, with trying very efficiently to grow the number of leads and convert them. The second part, how do we continuously, with what we spoke at the beginning with AI, how do you continuously grow the portfolio and continue to invest in AI when you still need to implement, and we have customer deliveries, and we have ongoing regular roadmap items. So these are the two main areas. How do you grow the company from a business, and how do you grow the portfolio? These are the two constraints all.
What are you finding in terms of channel partnerships and the benefits there? What kind of channel partners are you working with?
So there are three types of channel partners. One is technology vendors that we are really a great complement to their portfolio. For example, in the contact center domain where we started, so we are partners of Genesys, which is one of the leading contact center vendors in the world today. We're under App Market. We have multiple different clients that we're working together. We're also partnering several other contact center solutions there. The second type are BPOs, business process outsourcers. Those large companies are doing large scale outsourcing. So because of our automation, because of our RPA, because of our ability to take workflows and complete them end to end without human intervention, or with minimizing the human interventions, we are an amazing complement to what they are doing, especially if they are outsourcing contact center solutions and so on. And the third one is system integrators or consultants in domain-specific areas, either it's healthcare or contact centers, that are typically either consulting to clients and then bringing the vendors, or if they're a system integrator, they're working with different vendors and tailoring a solution to the specific pains of those clients. I love working with those because they know the clients very well. They come in, they tell us, look, they have this problem. Can you solve it? Yes, great. Boom. This is the pain point. Let's create a custom demo. That's it. That's typically the easiest sell. Nothing is easy, but this is the easiest sell.
Are there any particular challenges in building Outbound that you found that are unique to healthcare?
Yes, first of all, a lot of healthcare professionals are not too active on LinkedIn, and versus other, I'll call it again, enterprise verticals that are much more active on LinkedIn. And there are many people in healthcare that are working for the same hospital for the last 25 years. And you looked at their LinkedIn page and they have 20 people they're connected with, and they have no update for the last. So that's one, because LinkedIn is still a great channel, even to start to build trust and all of that. Other thing is they don't answer the phone. They don't answer the phone throughout the day. Their their response rate on emails is also very limited. So yeah, it's everything around cold outreach in healthcare is challenging.
So, if you had a magic wand, hypothetically, and could change one thing or fix one thing in the business right now that's either holding you back or slowing you down, what would that one thing be?
That's a very good question. I think converting. No, first of all, it goes to sales. Okay, it's how can we if the top of the funnel can be 20, 30, 40 times what we have now, that's it. I would be happy. I would be happy because I know that we can convert. I know that our solution is amazing. I know that our solution is bringing great, great value. And it is how can we how can we have more initial conversations to show that value? So that's what I would do.
Right. Well, I'll let you out here on this. What advice would you give to other bootstrapped SaaS founders that are working in markets like healthcare right now, in compliance heavy markets?
So first of all, don't expect any overnight success. There is no overnight success. It's a lot of grind, a lot of perseverance, a lot of persistence, a lot of rejection, and you just need to hang in there. But that believe in what you're doing or believe in the product, but also fail fast. And what I mean by fail fast is that especially in Bootstrap, but not only Bootstrap, you want to experiment with different outreach methods, different lead generation, and so on, or even with sometimes with people you recruit. But if it doesn't work, don't, don't try it for too long. You don't have the luxury to try it for too long. So try, fail fast, try the next thing, fine tune it a bit, and agility is very, very important in that aspect.
Absolutely. Well, Yossi, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Yes, of course. So first of all, you can find anything you want about Zappix on our website, www.zappix.com, zappix.com. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, Yossi Abraham on LinkedIn. You'll find me there, and I'll be happy to speak with anybody that has an interest in this.
Fantastic. And thank you to everyone listening to the show today. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and as always, keep pitching, keep building, and keep scaling.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Pitch, Build, Scale. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast provider so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.